Hello everyone, this is ACHAIAKAIA, and welcome to Wacky Wednesday number 2. This is the second in a new series that we've just started. Every Wednesday, I'll be doing some analysis slash commentary on a crazy out there strategy, either some kind of a rush build and how it works, or how to stop a particular rush build, because I know, especially in the matchup we're going to see today, PvP, which is what we looked at last week as well, there are a handful of very tricky rushes to deal with, especially at the lower levels. So we're going to take a look at that, and I did take note of everybody's feedback and comments on the last Wacky Wednesday, so I'll do my best to improve upon these videos. Definitely keep the comments coming, because, you know, the more I can get feedback from what you guys want to see in these videos, the more I can improve them and cater them to your wants, needs, and desires. But anyways, this is going to be a 1v1 Protoss versus Protoss. We are on Lost Temple here, and down at the bottom, iamjacksguns right here is the guy that sent me the replay, and he sent this as basically the title was Cannon Rush Fail. And what we're going to see here in this game is an attempted cannon rush, which is going to be stopped successfully by iamjacksguns because of a handful of reasons, primarily though his good scouting. And that's one of the things that I always try to emphasize when doing any kind of tutorial or analysis video, because it seems like a lot of people underestimate that if they're new to the StarCraft game or are in those low to mid-level tiers and are trying to improve. Scouting is absolutely paramount. You have to get that intelligence, because if you don't know where your opponent is or what they're doing, then you are playing in the dark literally, and you have no idea what you're going to have to do in order to counter whatever they're doing. So that's definitely a key point in this matchup. And now, as you can see already, iamjacksguns sending his probe out. He's a 10 of 10 supply, so he probably sent it out on 9. I didn't catch the exact timing. So getting that probe out nice and early, and he is going to scout clockwise, which is very common on these 4-player maps. Is you just basically, whatever position you start at, you just send your worker in a clockwise pattern around the map, checking every base. And it looks like we got a very early probe from 7th Saba. As you can see by the path in the minimap, they're just coming straight across. And actually, I'm sorry, it's Sabra. So Sabra coming straight across, actually running into iamjacksguns base straight away. And iamjacksguns, this is another good thing to do if you can spare a probe, is to make sure that you have one following it. Now, I would like to note that he had one go out and build the building, and then he had another one following. You could probably have built the building and then sent that same one following him. And iamjacksguns getting in here, seeing this forge, very quick forge, and he is obviously going to know that he is going to be completely immobile early on, because he doesn't even have a gateway building at this time. So the key for iamjacksguns is he scouted his opponent early, he sees this forge, and he knows that he is not going to be able to attack unless he does some kind of cannon play in the early game. And as you can see, he is now sending out a second probe now that the first one has been spotted and is still being chased around the map by iamjacksguns. He really does not want him to get any kind of secret tech or buildings anywhere out on the map where he's not going to know where it is, at least not with that probe. And here comes the gateway finally, and one photon cannon going down to help defend against that. Now, 7th Sabra is now starting to build his pylon outside of iamjacksguns base. Now, granted, this is not the best cannon rush placement, because on the low ground it's a lot harder to work your way up, especially if you're this far away from the cliff, because you basically are going to have to get something up the ramp or some kind of a flyer, which is going to give you vision in order to shoot up the ramp. And he is going to start building his cannons out here and basically try to work his way in. But as you can see here, iamjacksguns managed to sneak a probe into the top right base or corner of 7th Sabra's, oh my goodness, I cannot talk today, 7th Sabra's base. So he is going to have this probe up here in order to hide a pylon a little bit down the road, because obviously he knows that 7th Sabra's tech is way behind. And I'm not necessarily saying that that is a crucial part of his strategy, because obviously there are other ways for him to get out of his base other than trying to hide a probe over here with a hidden pylon. He already does have a pylon out at the natural, so he knows if Sabra tries to go for an early expansion, and he does have this extra probe in here. He can either just use it to scout if he wants to, or he can use it to build that hidden pylon like I mentioned. Oh, and unfortunately iamjacksguns getting his probe a little bit too far in there, and it looks like he may actually lose it if it gets too close to this photon cannon. Oh, and it goes down. So unfortunate, and iamjacksguns now just finding out all of these cannons are out here, and he's going to have to respond accordingly. And there's only one pylon powering this, but there's no easy way for him to get behind it. But fortunately, he does have his cybernetics core up already, and he is beginning the warp gate technology. He's putting down a forge of his own to help defend, because obviously, if Sabra can get vision up this ramp, and there are nothing but zealots to defend it, those cannons, once they start getting in range of this ramp here, are going to absolutely trash his zealots. And a couple of zealots actually coming from Sabra right now to help back up this cannon rush. And at this point, it's not really as much of a rush as it is just a kind of cheesy cannon push, because I mean, we're around 6.5 minutes into the game right now, as you can see by the game clock in the lower left there. And the 6.5 minutes into the game, at that point, you can't really call it a rush anymore. It's just kind of, you know, early mid-game push. But he is going to just continue to push with these cannons and get some zealots up here to help defend that. Now, if you're going to commit some kind of an attack like this, getting some units in the mix to defend these cannons and also to just poke the base every once in a while. Obviously, he's going to need something to get up the ramp so he can have vision of those buildings and poke them with his cannons. But in order to do that, he needs something that can take a little bit of damage, which, as you can see, these zealots are going to be able to serve that purpose. Unfortunately for him, though, iamjacksguns already getting a cannon up, and he is going to be able to stop this cannon rush with these two cannons on the high ground. There are two zealots here. One zealot here rather, trying to defend these two cannons. One zealot goes down, and there are two zealots still for Sabra, but there are two pylons powering both of these buildings, so he's going to be able to hold on to it. Now, iamjacksguns also getting the sentry here so that he can use a force field if he needs it to stop reinforcements. He felt comfortable holding them off on that particular push, though, so not really using it. But meanwhile, here is the key to his success in this match. So this hidden pylon now going up. His warp technology is done. He's got enough in his base to defend against the two zealots, which is the only more mobile part of his force. If he tries to build any more cannons in this area, just look at this placement. Obviously, this cannon got taken down over here, which that was in a pretty good spot as well. But this cannon over here is going to be able to stop any cannons in this immediate vicinity of the ramp, so he's really going to have a hard time pushing up and taking out any of these tech buildings in order to get himself a little bit of a wedge into this Protoss player's base. So iamjacksguns getting pretty good placement on his photon cannon is going to stop this rush dead in its tracks, but then also making a very smart decision to get that fast warp gate technology and warping units on his enemy's back line. And as you can see, Sabra's cannon placement protecting his tech buildings rather than his mineral line, so these ranged units are able to just get right in the back there and start taking stuff out. And it looks like they are going to get surrounded, but he's got more stalkers warping in right now. It looks like he may lose the sentry, but these stalkers will have no problem cleaning up the rest of these probes here. And it looks like that's going to be pretty much GG for the cannon rush from 7th Sabra. So yeah, you can just see there how important, again, scouting is. And then one of the things that we saw iamjacksguns immediately do when he spotted those cannons outside of his base is he got his own forge up and running and then threw two cannons up right next to the ramp, because he saw that the rush was on the low ground, and obviously if he's going to defend against that, he needs to make sure that no more cannons can be built by his ramp so he can actually defend that ramp. So very good decision making by iamjacksguns. He is actually a silver level player, and I believe this guy that he's playing against is either silver or gold. I can't remember what he told me. But anyways, yeah, he did. This is a mid-level game here that you guys are seeing. So obviously not the highest quality play, but still the basic principles apply of getting that scout out early, making sure that you know exactly where your opponent is and what they're doing, and then of course continuing to scout. As you see, he just sent that one zealot out to check the entrance to his base because he saw that he had that early forge and didn't see anything. And of course 7th Sabra saying, "You got lucky there." What a punk, saying iamjacksguns is lucky. He's one of my viewers here calling him lucky. What a jerk. And iamjacksguns calling him out, saying, yeah, because I scouted, because he knew exactly what he was trying to do. What a bad. But it looks like he is just going to try to all-in push this ramp here, and those zealots just getting absolutely dominated by that force field. And these stalkers not even really being microed at all, just kind of sitting there taking stuff out. So anyways, that is Wacky Wednesday number 2. A pretty simple cannon rush, but again, I know that that's something that a lot of mid to low level Protoss versus Protoss matchups have a hard time with. So I wanted to do a game regarding that, and I know that I did the Zealot Rush last game, so but Honestly, I haven't had a whole lot of people sending me Zerg stuff. It's been primarily Protoss and Terran. So definitely send me some more Zerg stuff, guys. And only send me 1 or 2 replays per week. I had one guy, and I'm not going to name him. He sent me like 12 replays or something crazy like that. And no offense, but I don't want to watch 12 replays. And the funny thing is that they were not, like, none of them were rush games. They were all like just straight up 2v2s and 3v3s, and nothing crazy happened. Like, there was no 8 pools, there's no cannon rushes, there was like nothing crazy going on. So definitely don't submit standard games for the Wacky Wednesday. I want to see some crazy out there strategies. I don't care if you carrier rush, void array rush, phoenix rush, nuke rush, you know, any kind of rush really, or whatever, or crazy unit combination. I don't care. And if you guys want, actually, you know what, put some suggestions down in the comments. I'd like to see what kind of crazy strategies you guys would like to see, and then maybe we can even do something kind of like what Day 9 does one week, where he's like, okay, this week for a Fun Day Monday, you can't build an expansion until you build carriers, or something stupid like that. So maybe we can even start applying some kind of rules for the Wacky Wednesday to make the cheese a little bit more rigid. But anyways, yeah, if you guys like the video, comment, like, and subscribe. And of course, as I mentioned, I want to see your ideas for future Wacky Wednesday videos as far as strategies that we can incorporate in these videos. Thanks for watching, guys. GG.